Hi, I'm Jenn Bishop, and I'm going to be reading to you from the beginning of Where We Used to Roam. The dedication is for everyone who's a little lost and looking for their herd. It could be an adventure. That's what Mom told me not even a week ago. But as I stare out the tiny smudged window at the airline worker below, as he tosses suitcase after suitcase on the conveyor belt headed for my airplane, I only feel like I'm running away from what's happening with my brother, from what I did to Becca, from everything. And not the kind of running away we did as little kids, where you pack your backpack with your favorite snacks, a sweatshirt, and a stuffed animal before hiding out in a neighbor's yard, but the real kind, putting 2,000 miles between yourself and everything and everyone you know. A tall guy who can't be much older than Austin, with dark brown skin, gentle eyes, and a Boston College men's basketball sweatshirt, slides into the seat next to me. Sorry, he says, with no choice but to spread his legs open, his knee knocking into mine. They were all out of exit row seats. I pivot my leg toward the window and out of his way. No worries, I say. Do you play? I gesture to his sweatshirt. Yeah, he says. Forward. You? I can't help but laugh at this suggestion. No, but my brother Austin, he used to. The words slip out of my grasp. He will again, I tell myself. 30 days on Cape Cod is going to fix him. It has to. Cool, he says, before slipping red headphones over his ears. Soon the plane is filled up. All these people headed to Denver, or even farther away, like me. Except probably not like me. I bet they're on vacation or traveling for business or going home for the summer now that all the colleges around Boston have let out. When it's time for takeoff, I shut my eyes tight, but this time when I close them, all I see is my brother in the upstairs hallway. Austin with his hand in a fist. How mad he looked, but not at me, at himself. I don't like that Austin. Can't look at that version of him anymore. I open my eyes and peer out the window as the plane dips to the left and the deep blue water of the Atlantic Ocean glimmers in the sun. I reach down, loosen the straps on my Birkenstocks, and rest my feet on my backpack. The vibrations from the engine travel up through my whole body, like they're trying to soothe me. The plane levels off, and we head west over the city. The skyscrapers downtown suddenly don't seem so tall. Down below, I spy the green lawn of Boston Common, the muddy water of the Charles, and the stone buildings in the Harvard campus. Becca must be down there somewhere, at the camp she goes to every summer with her fellow geniuses. All the other summers she'd complain, wishing I could accompany her. But this summer, no. This summer, I'm sure she's glad to be away from me and everyone else from our school, happy for a fresh start after how I ruined her life. I rummaged through my backpack for my sketchbook, flip it open to a clean page, and wiped my sweaty palms on my lap before uncapping my pen. Dear Becca, I write, before stopping to stare out the window again. Everything's so small, like a dollhouse world. Tiny matchbox cars zipping down the Mass Pike. From up here, you can't see the people inside. From up here, it looks perfect. That's how my life used to be. I didn't realize it until now. Didn't have anything else to compare it to. But it was. I close my eyes again, but now all I see is that look on Becca's face, almost like I slapped her. It was my chance to apologize, to try to make things right. All I did was make things worse. Me and my big mouth. Guess all that time hanging out with Kennedy finally wore off on me. I press my pen to the paper. I'm sorry. Some turbulence sends the pen jumping across the page, leaving a huge scribble behind. I close the notebook, put the cap on the pen. I can write to her later. I have the whole flight, the whole summer really. 2 months to figure out how to fix the mess I made. 7 months earlier. Chapter 1. Maybe everything could have been different if Ms. Patel, Nisha, had never approached me in art class. Not that any of what happened after is her fault. It's just that someone, had to be the first domino to fall. The one that sent all the others toppling. And if I think back, it was that moment that set it all into motion, at least as far as Becca was concerned. It was 7th period, the last class of the day before Thanksgiving break. But you wouldn't have been able to tell from peeking into the art room on that gray day. Ms. Patel always had music playing in her room, a mix of her own CDs and student iPhones plugged into her speaker system. We'd rotated into art only a few weeks earlier with the start of 2nd quarter, so I still didn't know her that well, but already I liked her a whole lot more than Mr. Morris, who we'd had for help last quarter. Seemed like his job was mostly to scare us away from trying drugs. I was half listening to the music, some kind of punk mix that my brother would probably be into, while I worked in my portrait drawing. Instead of randomly pairing us with other students in the class, the definition of awkward, Ms. Patel asked us to bring in a photograph of a family member or a loved one. No celebrities, she'd said, when Tegan Washington tried to pass up a picture of Timothée Chalamet as a distant cousin. The one I'd been bringing to life the past few classes with a photo of my brother, a snapshot Dad had taken at one of Austin's football practices this summer. Austin and his teammates were goofing off on the sidelines. It was one of those rare pictures that truly looks like the person. Every time I look at a photo of myself, it never quite matches up to the me I see in the mirror, the me I'm used to. And maybe mirror me isn't real me after all, but still. I was shading in the laugh lines around Austin's eyes when Ms. Patel stepped behind me. Her curly black hair was always up in a messy bun, and she had the kind of funky plastic glasses you'd expect on an artist, like she'd picked them out because she wanted to look interesting, rather than pretty. "Nice work, Emma," she said. "That your older brother?" I nodded, not stopping working just because she was there. There were only a few minutes left before the bell would ring, and I wanted to finish his eyes. I can see the resemblance. She picked up the photograph. Her fingers were flecked with paint, metallic blue and burnt umber. Really? I set my pencil down. Absolutely. It's all about the composition, how your nose, eyes, and mouth relate to each other. The exact same proportions. My heart sank a little. It wasn't like I wanted my art teacher to tell me I was beautiful or something. That would be weird. And it's not like I think my own brother is attractive. Also weird. But there are some things you kind of figure out from living in the world. From seeing how people react to other people. Austin was one of those shiny people, the kind everyone paid attention to when he walked into a room. Mom and Dad too. But me? No one had ever really noticed me that way. I blended in with the scenery. "You know," Ms. Patel said, setting the photo back down, "we're always welcoming new folks to art club. You should come sometime and see what it's like." Even in the middle of the school year? Especially in the middle of the school year. So much of middle school is new, and it can take a little while to find your place. Have you taken art classes before? Private lessons? Nope, I said. Though we live in the kind of Boston suburb where everyone's been taking lessons in something, or 5-something, since they were in diapers. Mom and Dad were never super into that with me in Austin. Between Dad's job as a meteorologist at the TV station, and Mom buying Happy Feet when I started kindergarten, there wasn't anyone left to ferry us around in the afternoons. Austin had his teammates' parents to take him to sports practices. And me? When I wasn't over at the Grossman's house with my best friend Becca, my after-school activity was hiding out in Mom's office in the back of the running store, drawing in my notebook, surrounded by boxes of the latest New Balance and Asics. "You're quite talented for being self-taught," Ms. Patel said as the bell rang. "I hope you'll consider coming, Emma, and not that I need to seal the deal, but I do provide brownies." My mouth watered. "Maybe," I said with a smile, not wanting to give away how much she'd already sold me on it. "Have a nice Thanksgiving." I slipped my drawing into my folder. "You too, Emma. Hope to see you Tuesday." After stopping by my locker, I met Becca outside the school, by that one maple tree where we always met to walk home together. She was so glued to the book she was reading, she didn't even notice me at first. "Becca," I said finally. "Sorry," she tucked in her bookmark. "Mrs. Hanson saved it for me. It doesn't come out till next Tuesday, but she said so long as I don't tell anyone." "Even me?" I said as we began our walk home. "Well, you know, you don't really care about books." Ouch. She wasn't wrong. It's not that I never read, but if you're going to compare me to Becca, it was no contest. No one at our middle school read more than Becca Grossman, not even Mrs. Hanson, the middle school librarian. And that's saying a lot because I'm pretty sure I overheard Mrs. Hanson saying she read more than 300 books in a single year. Why is this one so special, I asked. It's the 5th and final one of the series, Becca pouted. But maybe if us fans clamor enough, we can get the author to put out a novella or something. It's happened before. I know what I'm doing over break. She hugged the book to her chest. Or tonight, if I know you. But then I'll probably reread it a few times, put some stickies on my favorite scenes. We can still go to the movies though, right? Definitely, Becca said as she adjusted her glasses. I need to give my eyes a break sometime. So, I said, shoving my hands in my pockets, I think I might check out art club next week. Art club? Becca wrinkled her nose. What's so wrong with art club? The kind of people who do art club, Becca said, as if it were a certified fact that the people who do art club are weirdos. I got this strange feeling in my stomach then. Did my wanting to do it mean she felt the same way about me? Just a little? But I don't know who does art club, I said. Not for sure. I haven't even gone yet. You should have signed up for Battle of the Books back in September. But hey, you could still do forensics with me. That doesn't start for a few more weeks. I had been interested in forensics. But that was before I realized it wasn't like CSI at all. Once I learned it was about giving speeches, no thanks. When we first visited the middle school as 5th graders back in the spring, I'd been so excited. There were tons more after-school activities than we had in elementary. And since the middle school was walking distance from my house, it didn't matter anymore that no one was around to drive me. Becca and I, we could just walk home. But here we were, more than a quarter into the school year, and I hadn't signed up for anything. It was easier for Austin. When you do sports, it's all figured out for you. Fall was for football. Then he had basketball all winter and track in the spring. I promised Mom I'd try spring track, but right now spring felt a long way away. And Becca did a million activities. I needed something. I don't know, I said. What about math club? You're good at math. She wasn't wrong. It's my best subject. Well, after art. I just never had a chance to do art for a grade. Still, I wasn't nearly as good at math as Becca, who was taking it at the high school. Maybe, I said, as we waited at a crosswalk. But it was entirely different from the maybe I'd given Miss Patel just 15 minutes ago. If I wanted to do something, why did it matter whether or not Becca was on board? That's your little sneak peek, or not sneak peek, the book is out. That is the first chapter, plus the little beginning part. Where we used to roam. Notice the bison earrings, a hint of what's to come in the book.